So there are hundreds and hundreds of grounds in non-league. Some are more quirky than others, some are quite unique, and that's what we're going to be looking at in this video, the top 10 most unique and quirky non-league grounds. If you're around here, remember to click that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So yeah, it'd be great if you could help me get to that. But anyway, without any further ado, let's get straight into the video with number 10.
And at number 10 is the home of Ilkeston. It's the new Manor Ground. Now the team play in the 9th tier due to having liquidated twice in the last 8 years, and for that level the ground is fantastic, but what makes it unique is the stand in the northeast corner of the ground. Now they found themselves in a unique situation where the ground was pinned up against a road, so they didn't have much space for expansion along the one side of the ground, so they had to ram this small stand up in the northeast corner. It was the only part of that side of the pitch that had enough space to build a stand. They've got offices underneath and then some seating on top with the infamous clock tower in the corner. In at number 9 is a ground that has been covered on previous videos on this channel, and it is Coventry United's home, the Butts Park Arena. Now the phrase one-sided is used a lot in football to describe certain games where one team dominates. It's very rarely used to describe a ground, but this certainly comes into that category. The Butts Park Arena has one huge stand along the one side of the pitch, 3,000 seats, and pretty much around the rest of the ground there's nothing else going on. Like Ilkeston, Coventry United play in the 9th tier, and they share their ground with Coventry RFC. In at number 8, we move slightly back in time to the style of the ground, and that's the Harry Abraham Stadium, the home of Wingate and Finchley. Nothing around this ground has been renovated in over 27 years, and you can see that in their main stand with its Art Deco style curved roof. However, just a few months ago, they were awarded a grant of £150,000 to develop the ground and upgrade it, but the main stand roof was not on the list of upgrades, so the Art Deco isn't going anywhere. In at number 7 is a ground that not only is a unique ground, but it has a very unique name. It is the Dripping Pan, the home of Lewes. The ground has been there since 1885, and legend has it that the ground used to be an excavation pit, which explains the steep sides and grass banks around the edges of the pitch. There's 2 steep terraces, one behind each goal, and at the one end it is covered with a clubhouse next to it, and this clubhouse looks quite old-fashioned and it obscures the view from this terrace. Along with the unique roof to this terrace, along the one side of the pitch is a big grass bank with just a path along the top. And it all combines to create a really novel ground. And at number 6 we're going back to the Art Deco era, and it is to Enfield Town's ground, the Queen Elizabeth II Stadium. Much like Wingate and Finchley, it reeks of 80s and 90s, and again there's nothing unique about the other 3 stands, it's just their main stand which is the focal point, and it's set some way back from the pitch with a small seating area raised from the ground, but it's most notable for its cylindrical cafe building at the other end of the stand. Number 5 on this list certainly gets top marks for improvisation and resourcefulness, and it is Devizes. The Nottinghamshire side play in the 10th tier, and a lot of grounds at this level don't really have any coverage behind the goals, but Devizes came up with a very unique solution to this by getting 2 old Tesco trolley park shelters and putting them behind the one goal. It's a very unique thing, only probably fit about 5 or 10 people in each shelter, but at this level of football where there isn't a huge amount of fans, it's just the coverage that some fans might need behind a goal, and it gets top marks from me. Number 4 takes us back to a really historically significant ground on this list, and it is Great Yarmouth Town, who play at the Wellesey Recreation Ground. The ground's been there since 1888, and the famous grandstand at the ground was erected in 1892, and that's where it still stands. It's thought to be the oldest stand still in use in a football stadium. It displays the beautiful Victorian architecture, and it's even got a grade 2 listing status, which it gained in 2002, which basically means that no one can knock this down, so hopefully it'll be there for a number of years to come. And it was closed during the 1990s due to the presence of asbestos and inflammable timbers, but thankfully after restoration work it took a long time to restore it though, because it only reopened in 2010. In 3rd place is Newcastle Town's home, the Lime Valley Stadium. There's a number of grounds up and down the country that double as athletics arenas, with big athletics tracks around the outside, but it's very rare that you see grounds double as velodromes. Yes, that's right, there is a cycle track around the edge of the pitch. The most interesting part for me is on the corners of the velodrome track, where it is a very steep banked side. So for fans that are sort of around the edge of that, you certainly wouldn't want to fall over the barriers. But a benefit is, if you're a striker and you absolutely shank your shot high and wide, the ball, it won't even go out the ground, it will just roll straight back to you down the sides, which is actually really practical for football. In 2nd place on this list is described as one of the most ecologically sound grounds ever built, and it is the home of Dartford. It's Prince's Park. The National League Southside's ground was opened in 2006 and has a capacity of just over 4,000, and one of those in attendance every game is a 5.5 metre tall wooden man who stands on the terraces with his arms outstretched, almost like he's complaining about a refereeing decision. That on its own makes it unique enough to be on this list, but what makes it in at number 2 is because of everything else that is at the ground. The stands were built out of renewable timber. There's also a green living roof, have a complex water recycling system which helps irrigate the pitch, which is set 2 metres below ground level, which helps reduce noise and light pollution. There's also solar panels on the roof for power. It's just such a clever ground, really forward thinking, and that's what makes it number 2 on this list. And at number 1 is one that people instantly know is one of the most recognisable unique grounds in non-league. So on this list we have seen grounds double as rugby grounds, as cycling arenas, and as athletics tracks. This one is a totally new level of uniqueness in terms of sharing with the sport. It's one that is very rare to see, and it is Stourbridge's home, the War Memorial Ground, which is also a cricket pitch. So it goes without saying that a cricket pitch is considerably bigger than a football pitch. So the football pitch takes up half of the overall cricket pitch. Then there's some fencing which can be removed. What that means is that Stourbridge Football Club can only put stands around 3 sides of the ground. The stands themselves are actually quite unique. Along the one side of the pitch is made up of 3 separate stands which are essentially bolted together. Also on site you can see a cricket scoreboard as well as a quite nice pavilion. However, this ground was temporarily a 4-sided ground, as they built some temporary stands along the cricket pitch for their FA Cup second round match against Stevenage during the 11-12 season. They had over 3,000 in attendance that day, these 3 temporary stands increasing their capacity by over 1,000. All of this added together makes this, in my opinion, the most unique ground in non-league football.
So you have it, that is it for this top 10 list. Which teams did I miss out? What stadiums are there that are really unique and quirky that should have been on this list? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.